Good morning, friends. Welcome. West Tennessee Dave here, live to you on at Twitch at 6:33 in the morning Central Time. I hope you are excellent today. Maybe you're seeing this later on a VOD. Hello, hello. Welcome. Good to see you all. Good to be here with you. All right. Where are we at? So, we just heard a wild story last time about a guy trying to curse the Israelites and the donkey talking and the snakes. We're getting some funny stories here. We're in the book of Numbers, and we're going to be reading just 3 chapters today, a little bit shorter reading. So the reason it's called Numbers is they take censuses, and we're going to actually read the second census today as well and get a little bit of context of what that looks like as we go forth and where they are. And the story is starting to get into transition. We'll talk about that a little bit later after we read without giving too much away. All right, so let's get into it. Numbers 25 through 27. While the Israelites were camped at Acacia Grove, some of the men defiled themselves by having sexual relations with local Moabite women. These women invited them to attend sacrifices to their gods, so the Israelites feasted with them and worshipped the gods of Moab. In this way, Israel joined in the worship of Baal of Peor, causing the Lord's anger to blaze against them. The Lord issued the following command to Moses: "Seize all the ringleaders and execute them before the Lord in broad daylight, so his fierce anger will turn away from the people of Israel." So Moses ordered Israel's judges, "Each of you must put to death the men under your authority who have joined in worshiping Baal of Peor." Just then, one of the Israelite men brought a Midianite woman into his tent right before the eyes of Moses and all the people, as everyone was weeping at the entrance of the tabernacle. When Phinehas, son of Eleazar and the grandson of Aaron the priest, saw this, he jumped up and left the assembly. He took a spear and rushed after the man into his tent. Phinehas thrust the spear all the way through the man's body and into the woman's stomach. So the plague against the Israelites was stopped, but not before 24,000 people had died. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Phinehas, son of Eleazar and grandson of Ur the priest, has turned away my anger from the Israelites by being as zealous among them as I was. So I stopped destroying all of Israel as I intended to do in my zealous anger. Now tell him that I am making my special covenant of peace with him. In this covenant I give him and his descendants a permanent right to the priesthood, for in his zeal for me, his God, he purified the people of Israel, making them right with me." The Israelite man killed with the Midianite woman was named Zimri, son of Salu, the leader of the family from the tribe of Simeon. The woman's name was Cosbi. She was the daughter of Zur, the leader of a Midianite clan. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Attack the Midianites and destroy them, because they assaulted you with deceit and tricked you into worshiping Baal of Peor, and because of Cosbi, the daughter of a Midianite leader, who was killed at the time of the plague because of what happened at Peor." After the plague had ended, the Lord said to Moses and to Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, from the whole community of Israel, "Record the names of all the warriors by their families. List all the men 20 years old or older who are able to go to war." So there on the plains of Moab, beside the Jordan River, across from Jericho, Moses and Eleazar the priest issued these instructions to the leaders of Israel. "List all the men of Israel 20 years old and older, just as the Lord commanded Moses. This is the record of all the descendants of Israel who came out of Egypt. These were the clans descended from the sons of Reuben, Jacob's oldest son. The Hanachite clan, named after their ancestor Hanok. The Paluite clan, named after their ancestor Palu. The Hezronite clan, named after their ancestor Hezron. The Carmite clan, named after their ancestor Carmi. These were the clans of Reuben. Their registered troops numbered 43,730. Palu was the ancestor of Eliab. Eliab was the father of Nemuel, Dathan, and Abiram. This Dathan and Abiram are the same community leaders who conspired with Korah against Moses and Aaron, rebelling against the Lord. But the earth opened up its mouth and swallowed them with Korah, and fire devoured 250 of their followers. This served as a warning to the entire nation of Israel. However, the sons of Korah did not die that day. These were the clans descended from the sons of Simeon: the Jemuelite clan, named after their ancestor Jemuel; the Jaminite clan, named after their ancestor Jamin; the Jachinite clan, named after their ancestor Jachin; the Zorahite clan, named after their ancestor Zorah; the Shaluite clan, named after their ancestor Shalul. These were the clans of Simeon. Their registered troops numbered 22,200. These were the clans descended from the sons of Gad: the Zephonite clan, named after their ancestor Zephon; the Haggite clan, named after their ancestor Haggai; the Shuanite clan, named after their ancestor Shuni; the Oznite clan, named after their ancestor Ozni; the Arite clan, named after their ancestor Eri; the Aradite clan, named after their ancestor Aradi; the Aralite clan, named after their ancestor Arali. These were the clans of Gad. Their registered troops numbered 40,500. Judah had two sons, and Onan, who died in the land of Canaan. These were the clans descended from Judah's surviving sons: the Shelonite clan, named after their ancestor Shelah; the Perizzite clan, named after their ancestor Perez; the Zerahite clan, named after their ancestor Zerah. These were the sub-clans descended from the Perizzites: the Hezronites, named after their ancestor Hezron; the Hamulites, named after their ancestor Hamul. These were the clans of Judah. Their registered troops numbered 76,500. These were the clans descended from the sons of Issachar: the Tolite clan, named after their ancestor Tola; the Puite clan, named after their ancestor Pua; the Jashubite clan, named after their ancestor Jashub; the Shimronite clan, named after their ancestor Shimron. These were the clans of Issachar. Their registered troops numbered 64,300. These were the clans descended from the sons of Zebulun: the Zeredite clan, named after their ancestor Zered; the Elonite clan, named after their ancestor Elon; the Jaleelite clan, named after their ancestor Jaleel. These were the clans of Zebulun. Their registered troops numbered 60,500. Two clans were descended from Joseph through Manasseh and Ephraim. These were the clans descended from Manasseh: the Machirite clan, named after their ancestor Machir; the Gileadite clan, named after their ancestor Gilead, Machir's son. These were the subclans descended from the Gileadites: the Lezerites, named after their ancestor Lezer; the Helekites, named after their ancestor Helek; the Azraelites, named after their ancestor Azrael; the Shechemites, named after their ancestor Shechem; the Shemedaites, named after their ancestor Shemadiah; the Hephratites, named after their ancestor Hepher. One of Hepher's descendants, Zelophehad, had no sons, but his daughters' names were Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. These were the clans of Manasseh. Their registered troops numbered 52,700. These were the clans descended from the sons of Ephraim: the Shuthelite clans, named after their ancestor Shuthelah; the Becherite clan, named after their ancestor Becher; the Tanite clan, named after their ancestor Tahan. This was a subclan descended from the Shetuthelites: the Aaronites, named after their ancestor Aaron. These were the clans of Ephraim. Their registered troops numbered 32,500. These clans of Manasseh and Ephraim were also descendants of Joseph. These were the clans descended from the sons of Benjamin: the Belatite clan, named after their ancestor Bela; the Ashbelite clan, named after their ancestor Ashbel; the Aramite clan, named after their ancestor Ahiram; a Hiramite clan, that is. The Shuphamite clan, named after their ancestor Shupham. The Huphamite clan, named after their ancestor Hupham. These were the subclans descended from the Belites. The Ardatites, named after their ancestor Ard. The Naamites, named after their ancestor Naaman. These were the clans of Benjamin. The registered troops numbered 45,600. These were the clans descended from the sons of Dan, the Shuhamite clan, named after their ancestor Shuman. These were the Shuhamite clans of Dan. Their registered troops numbered 64,400. These were the clans descended from the sons of Asher, the Imnite clan, named after their ancestor Imnah, the Ishvite clan, named after their ancestor Ishvi, the Beerite clan, named after their ancestor Beriah. These were the subclans descended from the Beerites, the Heberites, named after their ancestor Heber, the Malchiites, named after their ancestor Malchiel. Asher also had a daughter named Sarah. These were the clans of Asher. Their registered troops numbered 53,400. These were the clans descended from the sons of Naphtali, the Jezreel clan, the Jezreelite clan, named after their ancestor Jezreel, the Gunite clan, named after their ancestor Guni, the Jezreelite clan, named after their ancestor Jezer, the Shilamite clan, named after their ancestor Shilem. These were the clans of Naphtali. Their registered troops numbered 45,400. In summary, the registered number of troops of all of Israel numbered 601,730. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Divide the land among the tribes and distribute the grants of land in proportion to the tribes' populations, as indicated by the numbers of names on the list. Give the larger tribes more land and the smaller tribes less land, each group receiving a grant in proportion to the size of its population. But you must assign the land by lot and give land to each ancestral tribe according to the number of names on the list. Each grant of land must be assigned by lot among larger groups and smaller tribal groups." This is the record of the Levites who were counted according to their clans. The Gershonite clan, named after their ancestor Gershon. The Kohathite clan, named after their ancestor Kohath. The Merarite clan, named after their ancestor Merari. The Libnites, the Hebronites, the Malhites, the Mushites, and the Korahites were all subclans of the Levites. Now Kohath was the ancestor of Amram, and Amram's wife was named Jochebed. She also was a descendant of Levi, born among the Levites in the land of Egypt. Amram and Jochebed became the parents of Aaron, Moses, and their sister Miriam. To Aaron were born Nadab, Abihu, and Eleazar, and Ithamar. But Nadab and Abihu died when they burned before the Lord the wrong kind of fire, different than he commanded. The men from the Levite clans who were 1 month old or older numbered 23,000. But the Levites were not included in the registration of the rest of the people of Israel because they were not given an allotment of land when it was divided among the Israelites. So these are the results of the registration of the people of Israel as conducted by Moses and Eleazar the priest on the plains of Moab beside the Jordan River across from Jericho. Now, one person on the list had been among those listed in the previous registration taken by Moses and Aaron in the wilderness of Sinai. For the Lord had said of them, "They will all die in the wilderness. Not one of them survived except Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and Joshua, son of Nun." One day, a petition was presented by the daughters of Zelophehad, Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. Their father Zelophehad was a descendant of Hepher, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, son of Joseph. These women stood before Moses, Eleazar the priest, the tribal leaders, and the entire community at the entrance of the tabernacle. "Our father died in the wilderness," they said. "He was not among Korah's followers who rebelled against the Lord. He died because of his own sin, but he had no sons. Why should the name of our father disappear from his clan just because he had no sons? Give us property along with the rest of our relatives." So Moses brought their case before the Lord, and the Lord replied to Moses, "The claim of the daughters of Zelophehad is legitimate. You must give them a grant of land along with their father's relatives. Assign them the property that would have been given to their father, and give the following instructions to the people of Israel. If a man dies and has no son, then give his inheritance to his daughters. And if he has no daughter either, transfer his inheritance to his brothers. If he has no brothers, give his inheritance to his father's brothers. But if his father has no brothers, give his inheritance to the nearest relative in his clan. This is a legal requirement for the people of Israel, just as the Lord commanded Moses. One day the Lord said to Moses, "Climb one of the mountains east of the river and look out over the land I have given the people of Israel. After you have seen it, you will die like your brother Aaron, for you both rebelled against my instructions in the wilderness of Zin. When the people of Israel rebelled, you failed to demonstrate my holiness to them at the waters. These are the waters of Meribah at Kadesh in the wilderness of Zin." Then Moses said to the Lord, "O Lord, you are the God who gives breath to all creatures. Please appoint a new man as leader for the community. Give them someone who will guide them wherever they go and will lead them into battle, so the community of the Lord will not be like a sheep without a shepherd." The Lord replied, "Take Joshua, son of Nun, who has the Spirit in him, and lay your hands on him. Present him to Eleazar the priest before the whole community and publicly commission him to lead the people. Transfer some of your authority to him so the whole community of Israel will obey him. When direction from the Lord is needed, Joshua will stand before Eleazar the priest, who will use the Urim, one of the sacred lots, cast before the Lord to determine his will. This is how Joshua and the rest of the community of Israel will determine everything they should do." So Moses did as the Lord commanded. He presented Joshua to Eleazar the priest and the whole community. Moses laid his hands on him and commissioned him to lead the people, just as the Lord had commanded through Moses. Okay, that's where we're going to stop today. So today I read the record keeping, or census, if you will, of the second census of the people of Israel. We kind of skipped the first one. It's kind of a mouthful to go through all the clans and all the tribes and everything. But I wanted you to get a little taste of what this book, the Book of Numbers, is kind of about. It is about the two different censuses. 12 tribes? It's complicated. There's actually 13 tribes. So there were 12 sons of Jacob, if you remember back in the day. But Joseph was human trafficked by his brothers into Egypt, and he had 2 sons. And Jacob claimed the 2 sons of Joseph as his own. And so it's kind of a weird thing, but basically they were considered 13 tribes because of that. But then there's also like 12. There's 12 that get land, and then there's the Levite tribe, who is the priestly tribe. They're in charge of the tabernacle and basically the religious duties, so they're not really counted. So it's kind of complicated. It's 12, 13, if you will. Anyway, so they did a second census today at the commanding of the Lord because right after the first part of the reading, we had just read the story of Balak coming to Balaam and trying to get him to curse the Israelites. And Balak is the king of Midian. And now they didn't get a cursing, so now they turned to a whole different tactic, which was, let's invite them to our festivals. Let's seduce them by sex. And so they invited a number of men from the Israelite community to the festivals they were going to have, and then the women went back and had sex with the men and tried to seduce them to worship a different god. And I mean, you could think, man, how can this happen? How can these people that have seen all of these amazing things of God then just turn their backs on God and listen to some other God? God has been feeding them now for 40 years. 40 years. They get manna every morning, 6 days a week, twice the amount they need on Saturday, delivered on the ground every day wherever they are. They've had quail come to them. They have water coming out of rocks where they're in dry land. They've seen miracle after miracle. They were too young to maybe remember all the miracles of Israel, of coming out of Egypt, that is, the parting of the Red Sea. Now, they're probably little kids. Some of them were little kids then. Maybe they forget. But we still have some of the older generation left too at this moment until the census is taken. So we have this plague that goes through, and maybe that's the final straw. It kind of just kills off the rest of that generation. But God doesn't want them worshiping another God. And maybe rightfully so. He has done so much for them. He's been among them, and for them to go off and go to festivals of another God and then bow down and worship and be enticed by sexual dancing and then want the women. I mean, he's not happy. God's not happy. And you could just shake your head and face palm or whatever, but uh, honestly, again, look in the mirror, right? People are often seduced. There is so much in this world that tries to seduce us. Sex sells. I mean, gosh, like I I'm just look, I'm a guy. Women are beautiful. They're absolutely stunning and beautiful. And they can be very seductive, like it's the truth. And I mean, if you lived in the exact same mantra of life and like in this small community, not small, I mean, like we're talking 2.5 million people, of people and animals and all this, but you just have this small kind of rural type community living in tents, and these people come and start dancing and sexually dancing or provocatively dancing. If you're not steadfast in your resolve to all of what God has said to you, I mean, it's going to look pretty attractive. Many things in life are that blinking light. They're like the slot machine. They blink with opportunity, with, ooh, that looks exciting. I want to see. We're such visual creatures sometimes. I mean, men are super visual creatures. And we like the blinking lights. We like things that offer us excitement and opportunities feel powerful, opportunities for sex. I mean, gosh, like it's just like this world offers that, and there's a reason it offers it so often. Is that as the Disciple said, sex sells, and God has been trying to show these people they have to rely on each other. They don't need gods from outside. They don't need all these other things. God's providing all they need. But when the blinking lights happen, and they happen in our lives just as well, so often we run to them. And they're just not good for us. And I mean, I know, like, I'm just as susceptible as they are, so we all are. Um, the Lord wants us to be in love with Him, and not with the things of this world. And that's a hard lesson. But He had said these people are going to die out, so we now have yeah. Yeah, I mean, they can be such seductive things. Sex, money, all those things can be so seductive. Sex, money, drugs, um, fame, all that, right? They're just their seduction, and God does not want us to be about those things. He wants us to be about Him and His kingdom and His journey. And we see how jealousy is there. And we always see a couple people rise up and say, no, this is not how it's going to be. And the Levites did that originally, and we see a basically repeat of that with the with Eleazar, son of what's his name? Eleazar. Oh, Eleazar is the priest. Phinehas is the one that went up this time. So the high priest, his son, is just as jealous for God, which is great. You want your religious people to be jealous. You want them to be jealous for God and really passionate. And they are there to help keep people on track. And in this case, and in this culture back in this day, this meant death to those who weren't going to do it. And you might think, man, that is pretty darn harsh. And we're about to go into a season of war in a minute in the Bible, in our storyline, because they're going to take the promised land. And you can't take over land that other people are occupying without war. They don't just give it up. And furthermore, for the basic same reasons, God treats His people the same way that He's treating the outsiders here. He is furious and wants to get rid of those who worship others. And He gives them lots of chances, but at the end of the day, He wants people to worship Him. Because He knows that everything else leads to pretty gross things. So we have to look at ourselves and think, man, how much are we worshiping other things in life? And probably need to rid ourselves of that. And then we have some other just like kind of nuanced here, but really, really powerful turning points in culture here. So most of history, and especially in Western culture where we are, and we're trying to get away from this, but is very patriarchal in how it's written for the most part. Mostly it's written about men, but we see throughout the Bible we've seen many times where women have a prominent role in different things. And today we get the daughters of Zelophehad saying, hey, our dad didn't have any sons. Like, just because it's somewhat a patriarchal society, or we've seen it as that, like, don't wipe his name off the face of the map. And God's like, yes, that is great, and that is correct. Like, daughters can inherit just as well if there's no sons. Now, how things were done generally, women were married. Well, women married back in the day. It's not done like it's done today. Families kind of arrange marriages for the most part, even in biblical times and through this lineage. And they would join the male family, so they stop being part of their family and start being part of the new family. And so they would then be part of the land grants of the new family they're in. But if you have no sons to inherit your land, well, then why can't your daughters, right? But this is also going to cause some problems, and we're going to see this later on. It's great in theory. It's hard to practice because of how the society is set up, and it is somewhat patriarchal. But we're also seeing women get a voice, be heard, and be counted and thought of as important here. So, really important to do. And, in our society, we've come a long way with how far women have gotten. I'm not sure we are totally at equality yet, but we are trying to get there. I hope. And we get our first foreshadowing of Moses finishing his journey. God said he would not enter the promised land, so as long as Moses is around, we're not entering to the promised land. But we do see who is going to lead the people, and that was one of the 12 spies. Only 2 were promised to be able to go in, which was Joshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh. And Joshua, son of Nun, has been appointed the next leader after Moses. And we see that today, and pretty soon we're going to start the transition from Moses to Joshua. But it's going to take a little while. And we'll go through all that as well as we go. So, new leadership is coming. I don't think new leadership is coming to this stream. I think I'm going to continue doing this. I know Hiles loves it a lot, but I don't think he's prepared to take it over. But just joking there. If you watch this later, Hiles. Anyways, thank you guys for being here. A little less story today, which I don't love. We're going to skip quite a few chapters going forward, and I'll just talk about those briefly next time. But yeah, to think about these things that seduce us. That's the place that we're at right now. And to refocus our hearts, our minds, our thoughts towards God who has made the way and is making the way for us in all things. That's what these people are going through, and that's what humanity goes through. So let us refocus ourselves back. That's what I'm gonna plan on. So, all right, thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. Good to see you guys. Hi, Knox. Hi, Asibla. Hi, Aaron. Thank you for saying hello. You guys have a great day as well. And I will see you guys on a stream soon. And until then, good luck in your endeavors. And until then, love you all.